The Book of John is not just one book. When people hear the Book of John, they usually think of the Gospel of John in the Bible. But there's another John, a hidden one. It's called the Secret Book of John, also known as the Apocryphon of John. It was discovered in 1945 in Nag Hammadi, Egypt, inside a collection of ancient papyrus codices buried in jars. These were writings banned by early church authorities, considered heretical, because they offered a different understanding of creation, God, and Jesus' message. This book was not meant for crowds nor for followers. It was meant for seekers, for rememberers. The Secret Book of John claims to reveal what Jesus told his disciple John, his closest in secret, right after the crucifixion. John is in despair, questioning everything he has witnessed, and Jesus, in radiant light, appears to explain what truly happened, not just in history but before creation itself. What follows is a cosmic story of how reality came into being, and it's completely different from the Genesis story we were taught. Instead of a single perfect creation by one all-powerful God, the Gnostics saw creation as a drama of consciousness, a mix of divine perfection, cosmic imbalance, and divine mercy. So he taught John, not about rules, not about church, not about fear, but about how the world was created, where souls come from, why the world feels broken, and how to wake up. This book was later removed and hidden because its message was dangerous. Why? Because it said, "You are not saved by belief. You are saved by knowing." This knowing was called gnosis, the real reason your soul came to earth. Before the first breath, before the first thought, there was only light. And from that light you were born, not as flesh, not as name, but as awareness, a spark of something infinite. Yet here you are, inside a world that forgets, inside a body that doubts, inside a story that tells you you're small. But deep down you've always felt it, that haunting sense that this isn't your first home, that you came from somewhere before all this, and somehow you're meant to remember. They say the soul came here to learn lessons, to suffer, to earn its way back to heaven. But what if that was never true? What if your descent wasn't a punishment, but a mission? A descent of light into shadow, not to escape it, but to awaken it. Sophia, the divine wisdom and how it all begun. A long, long time ago, before there were stars, before there was time, there was only light. Not sunlight but the one or the invisible spirit. The pure light of God, endless, peaceful, and alive. From the light came many spiritual beings made of love and wisdom. They were called eons. And they lived in a realm of pure harmony called the pleroma, which means the place of fullness. Each aeon was like a thought of God, a part of the divine mind or expressions of God. Each representing qualities like truth, love, grace, thought, and so on. And one of the most beautiful among them was Sophia, the youngest of these eons, whose name literally means wisdom of God. Sophia was bright, curious, and full of love. But her story was tragic and beautiful. She longed to know the source directly, the great spirit who made everything. She yearns to create like the source. In the pleroma, all creation happens through harmony. Eons exist in pairs of balance. Each aeon creates with its divine counterpart, a perfect balance of masculine and feminine, active and passive, thought and feeling, action and reflection. But Sophia, driven by her yearning to know the unknowable, made a bold choice. She reached beyond her appointed realm, stretching toward the pure light that cannot be seen. She acted alone. She tried to create something on her own without her divine partner. No one had ever done that before. Her act of creation, done alone, disrupted the perfect harmony of the spiritual realms. And from this imbalance, a being was born. What she produced was not evil, but incomplete, like a reflection without a mirror, a child without a parent's light. The Demiurge, the blind creator. What came from Sophia was a being, powerful but unaware, blind to the light that created him. This being was called Yaldabaoth, also known as the Demiurge, which means the builder. The Demiurge did not know where he came from. He couldn't see the higher realms, so he thought he himself was the only God in existence. So he believed, I am God and there is no other beside me. Sophia, horrified by what she had brought forth, she veiled Demiurge in a cloud of light to hide him from the higher realms. But the Demiurge, thinking he was the only power in existence, began to fashion worlds of his own, imitating the perfection he could dimly remember through Sophia's spark. He took some of Sophia's power, the spark she accidentally gave him. With that power he began creating his own world. But because he couldn't see the true light and lacked wisdom, his creations were imperfect and filled with confusion and darkness. And that's how the material world, the physical universe we live in, was born. This is how, according to the secret book of John, the material world began, not as a punishment but as a mistake of love. The world Demiurge created is beautiful but flawed, radiant but filled with suffering and illusions. Demiurge also created archons, lesser beings or rulers, to control the material world, each governing a part of the cosmic system. These archons act as spiritual gatekeepers, forces that keep human souls trapped in ignorance and forgetfulness. The creation of the material world and Sophia's compassion. The Demiurge created the physical universe, mountains, bodies, time, rules, but something was missing: light. In the secret book of John, the story says that when the Demiurge formed the first human, Adam, he couldn't bring it to life. He shaped the body, but it was lifeless clay. When Sophia saw what had happened, seeing the flawed universe that emerged from her offspring, she felt sorrow, but also love. She didn't hate her creation. Instead, she wanted to help it heal. She did not destroy what was imperfect. She descended into it. So she sent a tiny spark of her own divine light into the world her child had made. Sophia breathed her essence into the lifeless clay. She secretly placed the spark of her divine light to the first man his child created. And that spark is your soul. That's you. That's me. Every human being carries within them the divine spark, Sophia's essence, the living memory of the true God. She became bound to our world, to the lower realms, not as a prisoner, but as a redeemer. She hid herself within creation, inside living beings, especially inside human beings, scattering her divine essence throughout matter itself. She hid pieces of her light inside us. That light within us is Sophia's gift, a part of divine wisdom sleeping in every soul, waiting to be remembered. This is why humans feel different from everything else, why we ask questions, why we feel something is wrong, why we search for meaning. It's that deep yearning we feel when we look up at the night sky, and somehow know we came from somewhere beyond it. It's the ache you feel when beauty moves you to tears, the intuition that whispers, there is more to this life than this world allows you to see. That is Sophia's voice within you, the voice of divine wisdom remembering itself. The Demiurge and the God of the Old Testament. In the secret book of John, the Demiurge speaks like the God of the Old Testament. He says, I am a jealous God. There is no other God but me. The Gnostics believed this line, which appears in Isaiah and Exodus, wasn't the true God speaking, but Demiurge mistaking his limited realm for all of existence. But Sophia knows the truth. The Demiurge is not the highest God. He is a lower ruler. This explains why the Old Testament God is angry, demands obedience, rules with fear, while Jesus teaches love, forgiveness, inner freedom. Two very different voices, two very different understandings of God. Jesus' true mission, according to John. Jesus did not come to save us from sin. He came to wake us up. In the secret book of John, Jesus says he came to remind souls where they came from. He didn't bring a new religion. He brought remembrance. He taught, the kingdom is within you. Light is already inside you. Knowledge frees the soul. This is why he spoke in parables. Not everyone was meant to understand. Only those who were ready. The human condition, forgetfulness and remembrance. According to the Gnostics, the great tragedy isn't that we're sinners, it's that we've forgotten who we are. When the soul enters the material world, it falls under the spell of the Demiurge and his archons. It identifies with the body, with fear, with ego, with separation. It forgets the light. And so the soul wanders, lifetime after lifetime, trying to remember its origin. That's why you sometimes feel that strange homesickness, that longing for something you can't name, a feeling that this world is not all there is. That's Sophia's spark awakening in you. The esoteric meaning. Esoterically, Sophia represents the inner wisdom that every human carries, the intuitive knowing that transcends religion, culture, and dogma. She is the divine feminine principle, the aspect of God that feels, knows, and nurtures life into being. Her fall is the story of consciousness entering form. Her redemption is the process of awakening through experience. So when the Gnostics speak of Sophia, they're not just talking about a celestial being, they're describing the journey of your own soul. You too descended into the material world, forgot your light, and now, through love, wisdom, and remembrance, you rise again, completing the circle Sophia began. The message of the secret book of John. The secret book of John reveals that the soul's descent into matter wasn't a punishment, it was a divine plan. Sophia didn't create humanity to suffer. She planted her light in us to redeem the world from within. The purpose of life was never to worship, it was to remember. Every ache of the heart, every longing for home, every quiet moment when the world falls away and you feel something ancient stirring within, that's the light calling itself back. Even now the archons still whisper. They live through systems that keep you busy, beliefs that make you small, fears that make you forget. They say, you are only human. You are powerless. This world is all there is. But they lie, because even they were born from the same source that you came from. They just don't remember it yet. And that's your power. To remember what the world has forgotten. To bring light into the illusion not by fighting it, but by seeing through it. When you see another soul, pause. Look past the form, the story, the pain. See the spark behind their eyes. That's Sophia, still breathing through her creation. When you recognize it, you help awaken it, and little by little, the illusion weakens. This is the secret no empire wanted you to know. The divine doesn't need a temple. It needs awareness, and you are its remembrance made flesh. Every act of kindness, every moment of stillness, every breath taken in presence, is a small rebellion against the false god. Not through war but through awakening. Because light does not destroy the dark, it reveals it. And revelation is the beginning of transformation. You came here not to escape this world but to transmute it. To remember the eternal through the temporary. To find heaven within the human. When you fall, it's not failure, it's Sophia learning through you. When you rise, it's the source remembering itself. You are both the descent and the return. The question and the answer. The wound and the healing. That is the real message of the secret book of John. That creation itself was the beginning of awakening, not the loss of it. The light didn't fall from grace. It volunteered. And in every age, through every soul that remembers, it finds its way home again. So when you feel alone, when you feel lost or unworthy, remember, you are not a mistake. You are a mission. A fragment of infinity disguised as a human life. here to bring the divine memory back into the dream. And the more you remember, the more the dream begins to glow. You are not separate from the light. You never were. You only forgot. Now, you are remembering. If these words awaken something deep within you, don't let it fade. Join us in this remembrance. Subscribe to Veil Lifted, where forgotten truths are reborn and the ancient wisdom of light returns to modern hearts. Share this video to someone you know who are ready to wake up. The time of remembering has now begun. Let's go through this together. Because the journey doesn't end with death or salvation. It ends where it began. In the one who finally remembers they were never asleep.